Taurus, welcome to your bonus in-depth reading for yours and theirs. I hope you're well. I hope you are fabulous. Like always with yours and theirs, take what resonates, leave what does not, and reverse those energies as you see fit. Especially with yours and theirs, as energy exchange and interchange is real, rapid, and fluid. Having said that, your person that I see on this board today, might be about the energies involving a significant other, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, ex of 5 years ago. It comes up quite a bit. But I would also ask you to make space for those other perfectly common elements in life that we would call family, work, friendship, that kind of stuff. But going back to the main point, take what resonates, leave what does not. What's going on? Show me Taurus and their person. Show me Taurus and their person. We're going to build that baseline, put down the clarifiers, and towards the end, oracles and charms. What's up? And like always, we're going to technically start with your side of the board. But as I explained, reverse energies as you need to. What's up? What's going on? I think we're going to need a third cup of coffee. That's what I think. Yeah. The pollen is plentiful and it takes a toll on my energy level. All right. Sorry about that. Six of Pentacles. The 4 and 6 look remarkably similar in this deck. Other than that, the Sun and the Knights of Wands. Oh, I like that. Nice, simple, lovely, warm balance. The Hierophant, the Hanged Man, and Death. Okay. What's up? Is the sword? Well, I hope so. I hope we share a truth. 2 of Pentacles in the world. Okay. My point of view, having said that, okay. It's looking like you are a bit more prepared for this. They're still in a place of contemplation about the ending, and you're like, oh, I'm already feeling good. And I'm not trying to be cheeky about it. I'm really not. It's what's here. So that tells me you actually started indicating direction that was right for you, even if it meant coming to terms with things powerfully, but most likely in a difficult way. But you're like, yeah. I say it all the time about fixed signs. We don't mind change so long as, we're the designer of it. And there's something here that you are kind of powerfully leaning into, and it represents change more so on your terms. And I'm not saying it was easy, but what I am saying is that you seem to be very happy for it or about it. 6 of Pentacles, the Sun, Knight of Wands, you're like, I like where I'm at. This feels good. I'm focusing on my balances. And the 6 of Pentacles is a very generic way of saying balances, because anything we've got going on in the 3D that we give to and get from. So that's anything. The point is that things feel just about so. In your real world, your 3D, it feels good. You feel warm. I'm going to concentrate on what matters. This feels good to me. And Knights of Wands, and your energy is kind of unfolding in a positive direction of hope, optimism, even playfulness. Over here, the Hierophant, the Hanged Man, Death. It's like a very slow way of saying I can't believe it's over, but it's like on a large scale way. Okay, it is a reflection in parts you, and then in some way the commitment they had with you. That commitment, bare minimum, looks like it's spiritual, but yes, it could have gone into spaces of marriage or something that says I'm here and I'm signed up to this contractually or otherwise. In the Hanged Man, we're still contemplating it. We're still contemplating that commitment. We're still contemplating it. So that's where they need to be. That's where they need to be. But then Death is here, so it looks like we understand now the ending. Okay. Ace of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, the World. The thing is, you both made points. You made your point, they made their point. You both had points of view. Ace of Swords, you both had solid truths. 2 of Pentacles, you both went back and forth in the exchange of those truths. And the World, that tells me in some way you both agreed on similar points about the ending of this, cycling out of it. It's just, I think you were much more prepared for it. I do. Yeah, like I said, there's a good chance here with the Tower in your overview, you may have even prompted it. It's interesting when people show me this, they can show me the mechanisms of conversation and the going of the back and forth, but until we're really ready to spiritually and emotionally accept something, that's when it's more done. And that's where I can see people connected all the time via their past or their emotions or still their thought processes and things like that, because they still haven't fully accepted it. So you both had points mechanically. Back and forth. Should we close this chapter out? Should we close this cycle out? Here's my point. Here's yours. And you both agreed to it in your own respective ways. But it seems to be they're slowly appreciating the actual commitment here, what it meant to them, and the process of catching up to it, and it's actually being over are two different things. So, all right, let's start with you. But I just really want to point out, I really like the simplicities of your focus, your energy. It's just so positive. It feels warm, relieved. This is all I need to focus on right now, and that's good, right? That's a good feeling. Let's see that tower, please. Let's see that tower. Taurus just kicking it off with a tower today. That's what you're up to. What's Virgo and Cappy doing? You know? That was the tail end of that thought. Like, okay, wait a minute. What are the other earth signs up to then? All right, let's see that tower, please. Page of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Four of Cups. So there it is. Wow. And this is very much a Taurian thing. After much due consideration stretched out over a long period of time, and from a distant standpoint, understanding, piece by piece, slowly, ever so slowly, how unhappy you've been. I don't think you were trying to indulge in it. I don't think that you were trying to stay in that recognition of the Four of Cups forever. It's just once you understood the full weight of it and you accepted the responsibility of always feeling like you're in a Four of Cups in this situation, understanding that I'm allowing myself to exist in this space of unhappiness. I'm not saying that they didn't contribute. Of course they did. But what I'm saying is I've just been an outsider looking at all my own unhappiness for a long time. Once you understood that, you're like, this is unacceptable to me. I don't want to feel like this anymore. This has been going on way too long. I understand that. I see my part in it. I don't want to do this anymore. And I think that was your major point by far. Is like you can have your finer points about why, technically speaking, this cycle should be closed at the end of the day. But for a long period of your life, I'm looking at a Taurus who is like, I'm always waiting for a better day, and that better day never comes. You know, we've met those people, and we all fall subject to it from time to time. Next month will be a better month, and then for other people, it's like, you know, it's next season. Next season's going to be, and then we're talking years. In X many years, I'll be happy. And somehow you got locked into that. Except that happiness never seemed to come on through, you know? And the Page of Pentacles suggests not much was done about it over the years. It was just a sort of low expectation that things will be okay. And we can kind of finally do away with that with the Tower. Like, Taurus, if that were true, it would have happened by now, don't you think, buddy? So it's kind of like that, but bigger, you know? Okay. Let's jump on over here. Let's take a look at those balances, please. Six of Pentacles. Let's see that Six of Pentacles. What's up? Six of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Okay. Okay. Yeah, part of that recognition here for you as Taurus, particularly Six of Pentacles, is understanding that all your balances were that great. Right? Five of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Wands. You're saying you kept a lot of things in balances because you told yourself that you were supposed to, or this was your offer, this was your gig, this was your idea, so therefore you should be happy about it. And this is something that you've been having to work through. For some of you, it represents a form of self-sabotage and how you've been spending your time, energy, and effort. Okay? And how have I been spending my time, energy, and effort? Is every single one of my balances ultimately making me happy, or is it just allowing me to put more distance between myself and the sense of unhappiness, right? And that's correct. When we use, like I was saying, this reference to time, energy, and effort, oh, if I just got that bonus, I'd be happier. That wasn't the issue. If I just get this new job, I'll be happier. That wasn't the issue. If I just relocate and get this new home or this new car, I'll be happier. That wasn't the issue, baby. You know, there's some things that Ace in the Pentacles in this world just cannot solve. And bless you, I can see where you tried to maintain those balances and incorporate new offers that would be like, this is it. This is going to be the one that turns everything around. And it didn't. The unhappiness and therefore the emotional restlessness and dissatisfaction I'm seeing with you had to do with your emotional self, not your material world. So you can go out there and bag all those opportunities and buy up all the new homes and properties and cars, trade in whatever, but, you know, it just gave you that next thing to kind of fixate on. And say, if I can just work out the mechanics of this, that'll be the day I'm happier. I understand. You know, that's actually extremely common. It happens all the time. You know? And it gave you something to focus on, always. It gave you something to focus on. Then you realized, oh, these things kind of add up. They all seem to have a common thread. Right? I know those common threads. I see them all the time. It's okay. Point is that you figured it out. You know? It's a way of keeping ourselves distracted and keeping ourselves busy in the stuff that by all rights gives us security, but then also undermines that sense of security simultaneously. And why? Because we're unhappy. But we don't want to say it's that, right? No. It's much easier to be like, man, I need that new iPhone. If I just had that new iPhone, I just know I'd be happier. It has nothing to do with my relationship. It has nothing to do with that. No. See what I'm saying? We feed the machine without knowing we're feeding the machine, and that's what self-sabotage is. All right. I just wanted to point it out to you because looking at it, I'm familiar with it. That's what you might call self-sabotage light, although I admit that over the years it can add up. You know, it can add up. After so many moves and so many different vehicles, you're like, I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. All right, let's see the sun, please. It's like, how many new jobs have I had in the past 5 years? Something like that. You see what I'm saying? The sun. Let's see that sun, please. There it is. The world. The High Priestess, the Page of Swords. Yeah. And then you had a kind of weird feeling, and I mean weird feeling in the background. Maybe this isn't it, Taurus. Maybe the focus on the material stuff isn't the problem. Maybe that's not why I'm actually unhappy. Maybe that's why. So you were highly intuitive, but that intuitive process was getting buried, right? Getting absolutely buried in the busyness, the self-sabotaging. And we felt that that cycle was pending. And oh my God, if I let this cycle go in my life, I might actually be happy. How dare I think that? So I can definitely see where you might have doubled down, right, on those aces and the balances. But no, I mean, it was just keeping you, by maintaining this, it was just keeping you from feeling your happiness, that's all. So again, with this cycle closing out, just to reiterate, you are now coming into the warmth of the sun and you're understanding this feels good. I don't have to carry any more false aces or any more false balances under the pretext of happiness or responsibility or acquisition. I'm actually authentically happy, and I can get in tune with that. I don't need more covers. I don't need more expense items either. All right, let's see that Knight of Wands, please. Yeah, I know, but that was some really low brewing background noise to the overall situation. We had a feeling that that world was coming, but we didn't want to see it. Okay? But with it, with that world, as that door closes, and it will continue to close. Okay? You will access that place of happiness a little more every day, and that's what the grounding principle is for Taurus. Okay? All right, the Knights of Wands. You're going to find you need to invest in other things not so high. These fell. I just saw that. 5 of Cups, 3 of Cups. There's a sadness here. We can't bring it together anymore. It's okay. It's going to happen. It's the admission of how unhappy you've been. All right? So let's reshuffle those. I'm glad I saw it, but it was kind of like, I got it. I know. Let's see that Knight of Wands, please. Let's see that Knight of Wands. Okay. Yeah. Now that we're not like having to impose false beliefs on ourselves anymore, our energy is feeling a lot more freer. Death, 7 of Cups, 10 of Cups. It's no longer an option to consider harmonizing with someone anymore in the inner circle. Inner circle, again, is right up there with the 10 of Pentacles. It's fairly extensive. Anybody can be in that 10 of Cups. It's really not a quantity thing. It's a quality thing. So that's anybody from family, friends, to spouses, to kids. The idea is that we get along with these people. They serve a role in our life, and us and them. So that's the harmonization principle. And you're saying there's one direction that you will not harmonize with anymore. That's over. That's no longer a subject line in your email. Okay? It's not there for consideration. It's not open to negotiation. You won't consider harmonizing with somebody in that 10 of Cups. I'm not saying everybody's out. I'm saying there's one option you won't consider anymore within the greater context of your harmony principle. Okay? So yeah, that one connection is over. And now that you don't have to give to it or give to it under false pretenses anymore, like I said, you're showing me a lot more freedom. But not even just freedom, guys. It goes beyond that. Just warmth and peace. Again, you don't have to keep underneath. No more false pretenses here. Okay? No more distraction stuff. And just sit and be still and be warm and happy. And it's a gentle happiness. It's not obnoxious. It's not over the top. It's just, I don't have to maintain lies anymore. I don't have to feel the stress of doing something I don't want to fucking do anymore. So on and so forth. So it's not like you're out there shooting off fireworks. I don't think you are, but you get the idea. It's just so much relief in you not having to spend energy or time, energy, and effort in a particular direction anymore. And it all comes from this space of, I understand now why I've actually been unhappy. Okay? All right. The Hierophant, the Hanged Man, Death. All right, let's keep on keeping on. I think yours is interesting. I could spend a lot more time with it, but I think we got it, guys. I think we got it. All right, let's see that Hierophant, please. It wasn't the stuff. Actually, your reasons were quite simple in nature. Very. And I think that's where a lot of the disbelief was coming from. It can't be that simple. I was just like unhappy. The fuck? I mean, how long were you unhappy? With nothing changing. Yeah, sometimes it can, quote unquote, be that simple. All right, let's see the Hierophant. Let's see that Hierophant, please. Let's see that Hierophant. Mm-hmm. We had a magnificent thunderstorm last night. I mean, it was breathtaking. That sky was lit up in shades of blue and black. Oh, my God. Anyway, I'm admiring it because with that very intense rainstorm we had last night, washed all the pollen off my car. Yay. See? There's a bright side to everything. Okay, King of Swords, 6 of Wands, the Star, and the Hierophant. Wow, you know, as a strong sense of ownership from this person about this connection or this commitment and what it meant to them. Yeah, there's some pride attached to it. They openly acknowledge that with the King of Swords. There's a strong sense of claimancy here in their connection to you. They're saying they desire this commitment to keep it on track. They're saying it's a focus for me, it's a determination for me. So that determination's coming across a little bit as pride, but the focus for this person was real. And how they interpreted this connection for them, they said it's my everything. Okay. It's interesting. It's almost a little commanding, a little bit. King of Swords and the 6 of Wands. That's very commanding. It's like, I know this is correct for me. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel confident. And it's what I choose. This connection to you or this commitment to you. Okay. Okay, you both showed me the Six of Wands. So you were making a lot of choices about the balances based on this person's perception of star pathway and commitment. Like you said, we had the same goals. Like what was important to them was important to me, and I had to go out of my way to prove it. Is that where that self-deception was coming from? Self-sabotage? It's like I did all these things because I was operating on the idea it would make them happy. But not necessarily would make me happy, but I did it for them. That was a form of self-sabotage. But I can see where you would have a prompter. Yeah. Okay. I can see where you would get that idea of false motivation. Sure. All right, let's see that Hanged Man, please. Let's see that Hanged Man. Let's see that Hanged Man, please. So it was really important to them, this particular vision, and you're like, totally. I'm going to feed into that image. Here you go. Okay. Okay. I'm not saying it necessarily made you a bad person. What I am saying is that you did kind of feed into what their dream was and this connection. You wanted to live up to their dream or their sense of expectation. Okay. The Hanged Man, that doesn't necessarily, again, make you bad. Not at all. It's just, I think you were trying to live up to their dreams or their ideals because they have such a clear vision of it, whereas you're like, this, I understand this is important. It's totally important to me, too. Okay. Let's see that Hanged Man, please. The Lovers, the Knights of Wands, and the Five of Cups. It's like it's a shame that Taurus's energy isn't pointed at me in that way. And they're thinking about this, or thinking about this now, that your sense of ease, ambition, or passion, it's regretful they're saying that it doesn't point to them. Okay. Okay. And you did show me a Knight of Wands that was like, I feel better about me and where I'm going. And they kind of see that in you. And the best of your energies is no longer going towards them. In terms of your sense of desire, it's kind of like Taurus's energy was never really here, but it did feed me. And I see that. Like, your vision is important to me. We have the same vision, but it wasn't. But you have a stronger sense of ambition and passion tied elsewhere that has nothing to do with the material world. And they're kind of like, I wish Taurus would point that at me. Well, you were feeding them part of the image of what they said was important to them. It wasn't necessarily your belief. Okay. But they've had a lot of time to think about this. It's like, man, maybe I was cultivating a connection with Taurus for all the wrong reasons. Instead of this sense of determination of commitment and what it's supposed to look like, maybe I should have been feeding something more akin to the Lovers, a sense of passion and drive and deep connection, as opposed to a focused or fixed outcome. It's regretful from this person's point of view. I was feeding the wrong side of Taurus. It's like I regret fixating on what this commitment was supposed to look like from my point of view, instead of maybe what Taurus need, which was a deeper emotional connection, something like that. But it's all Hanged Man. It's all theory from this person's point of view of perspective. It's like Taurus doesn't point that energy. This isn't what they really wanted. You know? Not so much how the connection looked or the commitment looked, or how well it was supposedly going, but they regret not feeding a deeper part of you, or a deeper part of the connection, which again would be emotional connection, spiritual connection, sexual connection. But you were like, here's Pentacles, I know it's important to you. Me too. That was the source of your unhappiness. You were feeding it, but it wasn't necessarily feeding you. And your biggest fault here, I guess, would be allowing yourself to believe that you were satisfied in this way. Okay, you played into it. It was still a form of self-sabotage. But what I do like from this person's point of view is that they regret not feeding this in a deeper, more meaningful way. So the appreciation's there, to that person's credit. The appreciation's there. Let's see, Death. There was too much focus on look and outcome, perhaps. A sense of goals. We need to be here at year 5, year 10, year 20, something like that. And I'm all for that, but what's going to keep that going? Ace of Cups, Nine of Cups, and the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, they understand that love is out the door for this situation, for you, and for this connection. Yeah. Ace of Cups, Nine of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. They don't expect you at future to come marching back with a full cup for them. Okay. They understand. They understand. So they seem to understand finally emotionally in future what it's about. But it's interesting, you both rely on a sense of technical approach and understanding each person's perspective to close that door. But it's like, for this person, all I can tell you is that they get it later. The deeper context of this separation. They'll get it later. Okay? It wasn't about the stuff. Or your two's image. You know? Or how well you could perform at work, or how well they could accumulate this, that, and the other. It wasn't about that. I should have coaxed more of this side. You know, Taurus had the energy for a lover, and I'm over here kind of being a commanding authority of how ideally I want this connection to look. I'm not necessarily thinking about what Taurus wants. And like for your part, though, you fed the machine for a while. Okay? Just be aware of that. Because if you've done it that way once, that means you can do it again, and I don't want you to. If you're going to set yourself up for some sort of new beginning, as the world would indicate, I just want you to be aware of that. Okay? Ace of Swords. Your opening, though, was plain and simple. I've been unhappy, and I've been unhappy for a long time. And I thought feeding it goal work or giving it stuff would make us happy, but it doesn't seem to. I'm just now getting back in touch with my happiness that says I focus on the basics, the real basics. The stuff that works for me, right? Mm-hmm. Let's see that Ace of Swords, please. Ace of Cups. The Emperor and the Page of Cups. It's a truth here that someone acknowledges, I believe that's you, that you would like to line yourself up to new love and time when you're ready to own that. But you're saying it's enough for you over here to no longer hope for the openness of full emotional love with one person in that way. No. But yes, I do believe it's you that it's a truth that you have developed for yourself, at least personally, that you would like to line up to new love and time. Yeah. All right. Two of Pentacles. Let's see that Two of Pentacles, please. They acknowledge that your emotions aren't coming back, and they get it, though. They get it. In future, they get it. They get it. Queen of Cups, Four of Cups, there it is. The unhappiness and death, there it is. Going back to that opening, okay? Understanding that we were unhappy for so long, and that was your major point. Again, they're not going to understand your major point till later. Okay? When they see that you're happier in future, I think they'll understand it better. But to their credit, they're not going to understand it at first, honey, because from their point of view, they're getting everything that they want. Or at least they seem to be determined to get in that direction, that this is how our connection looks, or this is how I strongly desire it should be. So from their point of view, their needs were being met. And you fed it. And they'll get it later with the Hanged Man. Taurus needed something deeper. Okay? To thrive. You showed me this yourself, your own particular truth. New love in your own way. Something that makes you feel empowered and not like an employee. Right? I know earth signs will often say something like that when it kind of gets into that space for some of you, that this is more than just security. Okay. All right. Two of Pentacles, Queen of Cups. I mean, again, we don't want this unhappiness anymore. We have too much feeling in us that hasn't been cultivated or cared for. This is the machine we wanted to feed, love, not how well we could do, status-wise. You know how well you could do. That's a no-brainer for you. Okay. Let's see that world, please. And this is something that you go back and forth with, and you tried to discuss with them for a long time, or long enough, I suppose, about how you've been unhappy. And they're like, but why? We're on target with our goals. Well, we're on target with your goals. Okay. Yeah. Taurus has a different set of goals. All right. Let's see the world, please. Ace of Swords, the Five of Cups, and the King of Swords. Yeah, they don't get it at first. I understand that. There they are, the King of Swords. They went from, I'm very determined, I know what I want, I know what we want, to, this confuses me and this causes me pain and hurt. I know you tried to discuss it with them, that you have one major point, you've stuck to it, is that I've been unhappy for a long time. I understand how I contributed to that unhappiness. I thought by giving you what we wanted or what you wanted, it would make us both happy. It didn't. I needed to be fed in a different way. I needed to be nurtured and cared for in a different way, something that has a stronger sense of emotional construct to it, such as spiritual growth, emotional growth. I don't know, but the Lovers has a higher tax bracket than what I'm seeing that you've received from this in terms of its deep connection, and that's where you wished your connection had been better fostered, is deeper connection first, as opposed to just goal orientation and sticking to it. I don't quite also put it, except, yeah, I see it being reflected on them as they have a very hard time with this ending. They will understand it later, okay? You needed more. You needed more, and perhaps you didn't know how to state your needs back here, because they have, I give them that. They have such a strong plan attached to them mentally and a vision. I can definitely see where if you tried to feed that vision, like, this should make us both happy, then they know what they're doing. They know what's up. They got a plan. And then you've seen the results of that plan over the years and how fundamentally it's just left you drier or emptier, vacant, absent, detached from your own sense of living. And it's like, I don't think this is supposed to be about this. You're right. Like I said, Taurus has a different set of goals. Okay. But yeah, this is closing out, and they struggle with it. They're straight up, honestly, they're going to struggle with it very much at first. Very much. They don't get it. They thought you two had a plan, and that plan was going fine. Well, I can kind of see why they're going to show confusion and anger at first and disbelief. And that's, you know, I can see why. Things have been going more or less their way for a long time. But it wasn't malicious, honey. It wasn't malicious in that sense of their way or my highway. It was just in the sense of, I thought this is what I wanted to, and I'm sorry I fed into that for years. Turns out I want something so much more, you know. But eventually they get to that space. Reunion, soul ties. Fulfillment wish. Some of you have a deep wish to reunion or form a reunion with an old soul tie. That's interesting. I didn't quite see that here today. I did see that some of you, however, part of your core truth is to open back into love or new love. And for some of you, that represents possibly having a reunion with an old soul tie. It represents a form of wish fulfillment for some of you, someone who kind of better represents that lover's energy. Okay. Okay. Anything else in here, please? New friendship, forming new friendships, new acquaintanceships, that kind of thing. People who better reflect where you are today, perhaps. Fear and anxiety about that self-sabotage, as we've seen. And what you've been doing and why you've been doing it. Yeah, you're going to feel like you don't know yourself because you've been feeding someone else's vision for a long time. But, you know, I'm sure at one point you really believed that's what you thought you wanted to, and it takes living life to understand that that wasn't true. You know, sometimes we have to live a life that we don't actually want to understand what it is we do want. All right. You're going to be okay. Big happy changes for you. Compromise. And yes, compromise feature, what that is, I don't know. But obviously, if you two have to work out the mechanics of this, there's going to be some level of compromise here. But I do see in the fairness, if in that sense of exchange, they understand your point of view later. Okay. They're going to profess confusion and distortion and anger now. They will understand you later. All right. Okay. But I do see you getting what you want in the end. So, all right. No letters, so I'm going to have to pull again. But for now, we have the medallion of Leo as well as Virgo. Keyword here being practical. Some of you might have some very strong Virgo, Leo in your chart. Could be connecting to. Their seasons might be important to you. We have the unicorn in reverse. This is a non-magical situation. It doesn't feel special, doesn't feel unique. But you, as an individual, I see peace for you. The dolphin, that sense of playfulness, joy, and just being able to the freedom of movement, the dove, peace. Your own sense of self is at peace. Your spirit's at peace, release, that kind of thing. Letters. Let's get some letters. We have F, P, and now I have twin dolphins, playful, that form a heart. Yeah, I know, you want your equal. And now I see you as the individual dolphin, but your pair later. And then we have the captain's wheel, the wheel of fortune in the world. As the time moves forward, and it will never move backwards. It will always move forward. The world happens. Doors open, doors close. But time marches on always, so use the best of your time. And then we have the dragon in the upright, the sense of empowerment, fire breathing, right? Powerful. And I did see you, in a way, taking ownership of this idea of new for yourself, and that's where you feel empowered. Beautiful. All right, Taurus, honey, I hope this helped you. I do. Put it in the comments. Take care. Be well.